Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to take a look at the brand new BMW iX1 for a number of reasons. Number one, I've not ever actually driven an iX1, and I think it is a cracking entry into the I range from BMW, their fully electric range. And secondly, why not? So before we go and take the iX1 for a drive, let's talk through some of the specifications that you can get on this car. So the iX1 starts at time of filming at just over £43,000. You can get it as a Sport, an X-Line, an M Sport, or now a Shadow Edition. We've also got the 20 and the 30 are available. These two different levels for power and for range. The 20 has a claimed range of up to around 290 miles, and the 30 a claimed range of up to around 270 miles on the WLTP cycle. We'll talk about the performance figures in a second when we take it out for a spin, but let's talk about the design firstly. I think it is a classically designed BMW. Of course, the kidney grills on the front are still here, but they are blocked in because, of course, it doesn't need the cooling for the engine. We've still got these upturned corona rings on the front. A lot of the corona rings are now disappearing for the modern BMWs. This particular car is a cracking specification, so it's finished in this glorious skyscraper grey. It is an M Sport as well, so you've got a differently designed bumper down the front, along the side and down the rear. This car is sat on the fabulous bigger alloy wheels as well, with the red brake calipers behind there. I think it looks really, really cool. Now, before we go and take a drive, let's take a look inside the car. The interior of the iX1 is a really lovely, lovely place to sit. We have this new design to the cockpit, which actually is now starting to make its way through the rest of the range. So the big digital display here now is finding its way onto the new 1 Series, the new 2 Series Grand Coupe as well. And it is a superb thing to use, running BMW's latest operating system on here, which is made using the air conditioning and so on. Super, super easy. Of course, that's because there are no physical buttons down here in the middle to control the air conditioning. It's all done on the screen. It also runs wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay 2, which, let's be honest, is probably what you're going to use most of the time. We've then got this hovering center console here with the controls for the volume, your hazard lights, your start-stop button, and your selector for your drive modes. It's all down here. There is no iDrive controller. It is now all solely a touch screen up here. Other than that, it's incredibly intuitive. It's very, very welcoming as you jump in here. These seats are absolutely superb as well. Super, super comfortable and really figure-hugging. Lovely, lovely seats. But other than that, you feel right at home in here. It is a cracking design to the interior, and I really do like it. The quality, the fit and finish all over this car is superb. The stitching along here, the almost leather feel to the dashboard across the door as well is wonderful. It is a cracking car to look at, both from the exterior. I really do like the way that it looks on the outside, and the interior as well, super high quality. But that's enough of that. I've not actually driven an iX1 before. So let's grab the camera, put it in the corner of the car, and let's go for a little spin. So here we are then in the driver's seat of the iX1 30. Now, I know what you're all thinking. This car's been out for a bit of time now. However, I just haven't driven one, and I think it actually might be a really fantastic entry into the world of electric with BMW. So what is this 30 then? Let's talk about that to begin with. So we've got just over 300 horsepower, around 306 to be precise, which means that 0 to 62 mile an hour is dealt with in just 5.6 seconds, which by any standards means that this is a quick car. Charging times obviously vary depending on what you charge it on, an AC or a DC. The fastest capacity that this car can charge at is 130 kilowatts, which is pretty quick. And as I've mentioned, the expected range on the WLTP cycle is around 270 miles. But I really wanted to know how the iX1 felt. Does it still feel like a BMW? Is it still a super, super premium product? And well, the simple answer from driving it for about 5 minutes are yes. Yes, it is. It still has that BMW feel. But let's just try and go into this in a little bit more detail. We are in a city, we're in Swansea, so it's going to be, we're not talking about this car's dynamics when you really press it on, because let's be honest, if you're buying this car you're not going to be setting new lap times around the Nürburgring, are you? I mean, I'm just sort of generalising there, but I can't imagine you will be. You might be. You might take it down to the Nürburgring and set a blistering time, which, fair play. However, I want to know what it's like as an everyday. What's it like round somewhere like this, where it's stop-start traffic, where the roads aren't particularly great, where there's potholes and so on. But first things first, it has that really lovely characteristic that every single electric car I've ever driven has. Just the quietness, the almost relaxed feel in here. Of course, there is no engine noise because there's no engine. Right now we're sat at some traffic lights and the car has gone into auto hold, so I can take my foot completely off the brake and it isn't going to go anywhere. That's something really simple that actually makes it really quite nice. You don't have to sit here with your foot jammed on the brake the whole time. But then when you do start to creep off, it's a really nice gradual feeling. It's just lovely. And then you do get a little bit of the BMW iconic sound as you start to move. It's very, very faint, so incredibly difficult to get on the microphone or the camera. But there is a distinct sound to the BMW electric, and this car has it. Let's talk about Regen brakes as well. This car has, of course, got Regen brakes. However, you can choose how much Regen you want. It's currently set as adaptive, so it's just reading the road and determining when's best to use the full Regen. Or you can go down here and drop it into B. Now this is a very aggressive setting for those Regen brakes and makes one pedal driving super, super easy. It means that you can actually come to a full stop just on the Regen. You can take your foot completely off the accelerator and the car will slow down to a complete stop. That is an incredibly cool feature for this car to have, and if you've not used Regen brakes before, it almost feels a little bit like engine braking. You lift your foot off and the car slows down naturally with obviously an internal combustion engine, but even more so with regenerative brakes, and all the time whilst that's happening, you're pumping power back into the batteries. It's a super, super cool thing. But what about everything else? This car, as you would have seen, is on the big alloy wheels. It's an M Sport. This is pretty much the harshest that this car's ride is ever going to be. And when I say harsh, I mean, it's not harsh. It's not harsh at all. The roads around here are pretty broken up, very potholy, very, rutty, if that's even a word. There's a lot of ruts in them. But this car is handling it really, really well, even with those big wheels. It doesn't feel uncomfortable in the slightest. Something I really like as well is the steering on these cars. At low speeds, it feels incredibly light, so it's really, really easy to position the car in car parks and maneuver it for what actually the X1 platform is actually turned into quite a big car. However, with this steering, it makes it super easy. You can literally one finger to the steering at low speeds, but then when you actually get to higher speeds, it weights up to give you more confidence in the car. It's a really nice system and feels fantastic on the road. But what else can I tell you? Well, I mean, it's just effortless. It just wafts around with supreme silence and lovely, just a feel of quality on the road. It feels just brilliant. And then if you did want to just prod the throttle, it picks up and goes. This is not a slow car by any means of the imagination. So if you really wanted to get a move on, it has some serious performance capabilities, this car. It's super impressive. It's super impressive. The iX1 is a brilliant thing to drive on the road. I think it looks great, especially this car with the skyscraper grey on the outside, the M Sport trim, so it just looks the part, as does the interior, and then the driving experience is just really, really nice. You've got a great feeling on the road. It's lovely. There's not much more I can say other than it's lovely. And if you want any more information on the brand new BMW iX1, please use the link in the description of this video to get in contact with your local Sytner BMW retailer. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come, and I will see you guys again very, very soon.